Finally, let me just close it out with a couple of notes from the finals, NBA Finals Game 2. Klay Thompson is a shell of himself. I hope he can recreate who he is, but I struggle to believe that Boston is going to continue to play the way that they've been playing, turning the ball over like the way they are, and having the inconsistency from Tatum and Brown, and not getting them playing well together on the same night. We need a Clay game. And I know Steve Kerr is keeping Clay in because he still stretches the floor. You still have to respect him. He's been there before. He's done that. But man, I'd hate to be him because Clay's struggling. He was like 4 for 19. He stayed in for a good portion of garbage time to try to get a rhythm, and he still couldn't find it. I'm sure he's going to find it in one of these games, but is it going to be worth what he's giving you since he's not the same defender that he was? And now he's not the scorer that we expected him to be. Let's see. What else we got here? Robert Williams is obviously not healthy, but when he is a problem. Golden State could get nothing at the rim with Robert Williams in the game. In the first quarter, the first half of the first quarter, when Jaylen Brown's going crazy, Jason Tatum's heating up, and Steph is struggling, you go Al Horford, Rob Williams, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. They are just too long for the Warriors to do anything with. And then the way that the Celtics were penetrating the Warriors' defense, you're like, oh, it's about to be a long night. But it wasn't. Well, it was. It was just a long night for Boston. What else? Jaylen Brown went cold. Don't really know what happened there. Draymond. You know, I was watching the 16 Warriors yesterday, and it was amazing to see how they looked with a healthy Clay and Draymond, who was once a better shooter. I mean, that offense was poetry in motion. It was so fluid. And it seemed like Steph was a better shooter back then. I'm not saying he was a better player, but it seemed like he was a better shooter back then. And I'm not saying Steph has fallen off. I still think he's a top 5 player in this league. I think he's going to win a championship and win a Finals MVP this year. But it's like, damn. Look how great he was back then, and look how great he is now. And there's a legitimate conversation of, dang, did he fall off? I wouldn't even say fall off. Did he take a step back? Because there's no fall off. Let me see what else. They kept talking about Gary Payton getting it out of the mud. Mike Breen brought it up. I think Bill Simmons brought it up on the podcast today, and I think Draymond talked about it. And at first, I'm like, man, he's Gary Payton's son. But then I think about it. He is Gary Payton's son, and he was in the G League, and he came up, and then he went back, and he came up, and he's Summer League, and came back. So I get it that he got it out of the NBA mud to get to where he is, and I'm not going to knock his work ethic. I'm not going to knock his talent because obviously he is a talented player, and he deserves to be where he is. But I just wonder. How many other players get the same opportunities he get without his name. Can't knock him for it. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That's about it. I just thought Boston was too sloppy with the ball, and honestly, when you turn the ball over the way that they did, you don't deserve to win. When your best 2 players have 13 points apiece, that's 26 points from 2 players in the first quarter, and you're down 1. That tells me that you're probably not going to win the game. It just didn't tell me it was going to be a 20-point game at the end of it. But those are my thoughts, man. I may come back and give y'all some more thoughts later this week. We'll definitely recap Game 3 with Parlay Pete on Thursday. I'll have a podcast coming for you all tomorrow. Just a typical Big Babies podcast with no sports. We'll be talking. Hell, I don't know what we'll be talking. I got to go work through some topics now. Y'all have a good one, man. Let's talk hoops, man.